Welcome to The Lifted Lens, the podcast, where strategy meets soul, helping motherhood and family photographers build a business that fits their life, not the other way around. So today I want to talk about something that every outdoor photography has to deal with, the wonderful British weather. Or the weather in general, if you are in other countries as well. But here in the UK, it is something that we do have to battle with fairly often. If you photograph families, maternity sessions, or if you do mini sessions outside, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Because as magical as outdoor sessions can be, the weather is also, it can be completely unpredictable. And I'm always getting messages from other photographers that ask me all the time, what do you do if it's raining? Do you cancel your sessions? What if the light is terrible? So today I wanted to talk about how I handle the weather as an outdoor photographer, some of the lessons that I've learned from my wedding photography days as well, and hopefully help you feel a little bit calmer the next time the forecast looks a bit questionable. So firstly, you cannot control the weather. Something that I learned really early on in my career when I was photographing weddings is that you cannot control the weather, but you can control how you respond. So you can check every forecast that there is, you can refresh it 20 times the day before, and it will still change. I remember wedding mornings where the forecast said that it was going to be torrential rain all day, and then the sun came out at 6 p.m. and we had the most beautiful sunset. And the opposite has also happened as well. So when it's forecast to be beautiful sunshine all day, and you think it's going to be the most amazing day, and then out of nowhere, rain straight after the ceremony during all of the group photos. So being able to stay calm and think on your feet and make all the adjustments that you need to is something that is one of the biggest skills that you can develop as an outdoor photographer. Adaptability, basically. So because your clients, they will be taking their cues from you. If you panic, then they'll be panicking as well. So if you can stay calm and confident and take control of the situation, then they will relax. Obviously, there's nothing you can do about the weather, so you just have to make the best of it. One of the most practical things that you can do is to choose locations that give you options for your outdoor sessions. So, for example, when I run my autumn mini sessions, I almost always will use a woodland location, because if it's a little bit drizzly or windy, then the trees will provide us obviously much needed shelter, and it's still really beautiful. And obviously for the autumn time of year as well in the woods is beautiful, because you have all those gorgeous autumn colours in the trees and it photographs really well. And the same goes for beach sessions as well. So I shoot a lot at a beach called Sandbanks, and I know that there's a spot that if it is really windy on the beach, which it very often is, even in the summer, it can get very windy on the coast. So moving into the sand dunes is always a very sheltered spot. Even on a really windy day, I know it's going to be quite sheltered there. And also it's quieter as well generally than on the actual beach. So that's another thing to think about as well. When you're choosing your locations or mini session days, and have a little think about, will this still work if the weather isn't perfect? Rather than shooting in a big open field, if it's in the autumn, for instance, then potentially moving somewhere where there is some shelter if it's needed. And the same goes for the summer as well. You don't want to be shooting in a big open field in the middle of summer midday. You want to be choosing somewhere where there's shade in case it does get super hot and you're obviously battling with the sun and people squinting and harsh shadows and things as well. So it's thinking about the locations ahead of time for any kind of weather options, because you just never know what you're going to get. And the UK especially is very unpredictable and very rarely perfect weather for us photographers. And Another big part of handling the weather is also making sure that you communicate really well with your clients. So most families are already going to be a bit nervous before the photo shoot, and they're wondering about if their kids are going to behave okay, if they're going to feel really awkward in front of the camera, how the photos are going to turn out. So when the weather is looking really uncertain as well, then they will really start to panic and worry. And this is where your calm leadership really matters. So I usually send a message the day before or a few days before a shoot saying something like, the forecast is looking a little bit mixed for tomorrow, but we'll keep an eye on it and I will guide you through. Even if it's cloudy, that will actually be really beautiful for photos. Lovely flat light is great. If it's looking like it could be a little bit drizzly, then I'll always just reassure them that we'll be able to find some shelter if it's windy, and just communicating with them and reassuring them as much as you can. Like I was saying, the cloudy weather actually is really amazing for photography, but our clients don't really realise that. So it's just letting them know that actually it's going to work really well and the photos are going to be beautiful no matter the weather, really. Obviously, when it comes to mini sessions, we do have to add another layer onto this because you can't easily move lots of families individually, but we always need to have a backup plan. So for family sessions and for mini session days, I will always build in flexibility into my planning. So for example, I will have backup dates for mini session days. I can have locations with natural shelter. Keep communicating with your clients and be as open as possible and let them know what the plan is. Most people are really understanding if they know that you are making decisions that's going to protect their experience, the experience for everyone, and to make the best of the day. Sometimes imperfect weather can actually create the best photos, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but the most magical sessions sometimes happen in not so great weather. So windy days, you have the wind blowing the hair, you're going to have big dramatic clouds and big skies, especially for sunset sessions. I find if it's been a really stormy grey day, and sometimes the sun will decide to come out around kind of sunset and you can get really dramatic skies. Some of my favourite beach photos have happened on those evenings when the weather was really questionable earlier in the day, and then that golden light breaking through the clouds. It can be incredible. And so instead of seeing the weather as a problem, sometimes it's about seeing it as part of the actual story of the shoot and something that you can work with rather than work against. So if you're an outdoor photographer and you're feeling really stressed every time the forecast changes, you're constantly looking at your phone and checking what the forecast is, then I promise you are not alone. We are all in this together. That over time, you will start to build different skills to adapt to different weather changes, to stay calm so you can guide your clients and still create beautiful images. Because it isn't just about having perfect conditions with these photos. If you're doing a family session, for instance, on a bit of a stormy, windy day, then you can actually create some beautiful connection. You can take a blanket, wrap it right around them. In those in-between moments is often when you get the best photos, when they're snuggled right up and they're giggling away because the wind is just going crazy. Often those moments happen when things are not going exactly to plan, and sometimes can be some of the favourite images that you will create. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you would share it with another photographer who shoots outdoors, especially if they're currently refreshing the weather app every 5 minutes. And if you'd like more support growing your photography business, you can find mentoring and resources over on my website at sbowdlerphotography.co.uk. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you on the next episode of The Lifted Lens, the podcast. Thank you so much.